President Trump expected to unveil his infrastructure plan next month. The price tag, well, roughly $1 trillion. Look who's here. Henry Cisneros, former HUD Secretary under President Clinton. Secretary Cisneros, welcome to the show.
Stuart, glad to be with you, sir.
I think this is an area where both Republicans and Democrats can combine their forces and agree on something.
There has been a lot of bipartisan support for the concept of infrastructure because it is going to create a lot of jobs, stimulate the economy, and for the long haul, enhance the nation's competitiveness.
Okay, you're for it. That's why you're sitting next to me.
That's
you're
right.
a Democrat. Okay, who pays?
Well, it's $1 trillion plan the president has advanced. About $200 billion of it, they propose, will be governmental funding. The rest, they're hoping to stimulate a whole series of incentives that will draw private capital. For example, pension investments and others to the infrastructure space. And that's very doable in this world.
But you have to have a rate of return.
That's right. You have to be able to monetize the resource. So a lot of infrastructure can be monetized. Imagine toll roads, for example, bridges, airports who charge landing fees and concessions and so forth.
Do you really think we're going to go for toll roads and toll bridges at this stage?
I think as an alternative to not building infrastructure, the answer is yes. We've seen this extensively in Europe, in Britain, in Spain, in other parts of Europe, in Australia, in Asia. And I think the day has come in the United States where we're saying we have a $1.5 trillion shortfall. We have airports that are inadequate. We have bridges that are 65,000 bridges in the United States that are dangerous.
So you think that they could be built or rebuilt with private enterprise?
Absolutely. Private enterprise and capital that is not quite private in the sense of high net worth individuals, but for example, pension systems that are looking for longer-term investments, what's called bond-like investments,
Henry,
over a span of time.
If I may call you by your first
please,
name,
please.
Mr. Secretary, you've come a long way. You now believe that private enterprise can actually build roads and bridges and airports successfully?
I have always believed that. I was mayor of San Antonio in the 1980s.
But you're a Democrat.
And we built a Texas Democrat.
Oh, there is a difference. Okay, here's the question. Look, if we get this thing going next year, and I think we probably can, how big a stimulus to the economy is it?
I think it's a very big stimulus to the economy, but the real long-term payoff is competitiveness on the world scene. More and more, we have to have the ports, for example. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach import 40% of all the cargo coming into the United States. They need to be enhanced. The roadways to them, the railroads to them, et cetera, to bring those goods then into the heartland. People fly out of beautiful airports in Asia and in Europe. They land at Kennedy, and they say, which was the third world country that I was just in?
Sarcasm is a low form of wit, but it's very, very apropos, as I might say. Mr. Cisneros, Mr. Secretary, I'm sorry we're out of time, but it's very interesting to get a Democrat on board with something that involves private enterprise.
Can I say just a quick word about the pending tax reform? There are infrastructure aspects in that. The elimination of private activity bonds would be a serious blow to bringing private capital to infrastructure. And so would some of the other aspects of tax reform that need to be thought out. So I would just implore the conferees to think not just short run, not just immediate, but think how are we going to build our infrastructure in the tax reform.
Positive Democrat input. Henry Cisneros. If you're not careful, you'll be back on this program. You'll lose all your friends. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thanks.